So, how can you get involved in this study? There are several ways. As Bob said, and as Fred said, we've been meeting in several places across the country. This is the third. And we're holding these public meetings so that everyone who wants to can come, hear what we've been planning so far, hear what we're thinking about in terms of the design of the study, and provide your comments, your input into what you've heard so far. So that's one way in which you can participate. There's another way, and that is in thinking about how, if you are an expert, you might be able to help the agency when we start our technical workshop process. The agency will be holding technical workshops this fall, and in that process, what we want to do is meet with experts in the field. It could be from the academic community, it could be from industry, it could be from non-governmental organizations, it could be from the federal government or the state government, and to talk about areas where there may be gaps in our knowledge and where we may be able to look at new information that's developing and new studies that are being done. So that information will be available on the website that I'll talk to you a little bit about in just a moment. We are also responsible for holding what we call webinars. These are internet-based and telephone-based discussions with industry sectors, with the NGO community, non-governmental organizations, with state partners, federal partners, to hear what that group believes should be done to study hydraulic fracturing and the impacts and the relationship to drinking water. So those meetings were held in May and June, and we are done with them. However, if we get interest in having additional meetings, that can be considered. And then all of this information gets fed into the study design. And we think the study design process is the most important part. It is the foundation, because if we don't get the study design right, then we will be working from a faulty foundation. So we really want to get the study design right.
The region is a major issue for many towns and communities throughout Pennsylvania. If done in the proper way, natural gas development has the potential to create Pennsylvania jobs, strengthen our state's economy, and reduce our dependence on foreign energy. However, despite its potential benefits, natural gas drilling presents a concern to the people living near these drilling sites. We already bear the burden of some environmental legacies, most created in previous generations, when federal regulations that promoted responsible development did not exist. Therefore, I believe it is important to protect the health and safety of Pennsylvanians as we further develop the Marcellus Shale. For this reason, I introduced the Fracturing Responsibility and Awareness of Chemicals Act that would require that hydraulic fracturing be regulated under the Safe Drinking Water Act. Hydraulic fracturing involves the use of sometimes toxic chemicals that are injected underground, often in close proximity to underground sources of drinking water. It is highly variable and unpredictable nature of this process that can lead to the contamination of groundwater and drinking water that is of great concern to me.
It has been and remains a place worth fighting for. This new energy boom is somewhat familiar. A big industry with air and water pollution issues. Deja vu. Battle lines are drawn. This fight is for our lives and those of our children. This invasion brings new technology, a fracking style only 5 years old here. Our tap water in the South Hills of Pittsburgh has already been contaminated. It comes from the Monongahela River, high TDS, dangerous levels of trihalomethanes, and acrylonitrile. Acrylonitrile at 11 times the level permitted in streams. Our counties had 2 fish kills and dead cattle near drilling. This fight's similar to others that brought death and destruction. Agent Orange. My comrades were ignored when they got sick. Prove it, industry said. Agent Orange is safe enough to drink. 20 years after our war, the National Academy of Science finally did a health study. My comrades were right. Many were dead right, dying in their 50s. EPA, do this frac study here on the waters around Pittsburgh. Partially treated wastewater is still being dumped in our drinking water. Where else in the U.S. is that being done? None that I have found. We are stuck on stupid, contaminating our own drinking water. They are poisoning the state we love. Yes, it is worth dying for, but not from a glass of water.
My family lives in Hickory, Pennsylvania. Our property is surrounded by 4 natural gas wells, the nearest being 947 feet from our water well cap. We rely on well water with no access to a public water source. There is no other industry around us other than the drilling and processing of natural gas. In June 2009, we were devastated to learn our well water was contaminated. Since then, we have had 12 water tests that show our well water and creek to contain numerous volatile organic compounds. These include acrylonitrile, toluene, ethylbenzene, tetrachloroethylene, and styrene. The homes around us also have some of these chemicals detected in their water tests. The burden of paying for the water testing is falling on the residents with concerns. The Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection is not capable of testing for acrylonitrile. We have 2 children who have been exposed to this water through consumption and bathing for a year and a half. My husband and I now have to pay to have potable water hauled to a 1,500-gallon tank that we store in our garage. Due to the expense, we still use the well water for laundry and flushing toilets. It's not even safe to allow our children to play in the sprinkler on a hot day. Our daily life has changed drastically since we found out about the water contamination. What about the families who don't yet know that their water has been affected? The proper research has not been done to guarantee that hydraulic fracturing is safe. Are the cement casings staying intact during the pressure of the fracking? Will the porous texture of the cement allow leaching of the frac chemicals to escape outside of the casing? Are the frac water and chemicals traveling back up outside the casing into our groundwater? I urge the Environmental Protection Agency to help my family and other families living near drilling to get answers to our questions. I live with the daily fears of what the long-term effects of the chemical exposure will have on my children. We are ground zero in the Marcellus play. The research needs done to protect other families before it's too late and they are in our situation.
Hi, in Clearville, we support energy independence. We do not support poisons in drilling fluids. We videoed the drilling. We know how water was polluted. So we have your proof, EPA, and anyone here that wants to see it's welcome to come to Clearville. We have pre-water tests. They showed there was no impasse in our water before drilling, and Test America is noted on that test. After drilling, we have pollution. Did you see the live video cam in the Gulf? There are no live video cams underground, and that illustration out there does not show the drill bit spitting out toxic fluids when it encountered our water supply. Days after it hit the water, our pond, our streams, and the neighbors' water filled with suds. The industry dazzles you with riches, candy-coated lies at the expense of the environment. Not only the environment, there's health issues in Clearville. There were livestock that died, pets died. We didn't know what was going on because we didn't have the internet before 1995. We now know, and the gas industry's good pollution, no pollution is about to end because we're on you, we know what you've done. Go ahead and sign the gas lease, produce the Marcellus. When you wake up and you can't feel your left arm and you don't know if your foot is there and your lip is twitching and your eye is twitching, then you might know you have 2-butoxyethanol or acrylonitrile in your water. So is it worth it? You answer. Riches at the expenses of the environment, humans, wildlife, and aquatic life. Thank you.